This is Steve with the SRP channel, and I am on a job here repairing. I'm stepping up here, actually inside the attic of a house built in 1920, and they're in the process of having solar panels put on, and the installers did not want to proceed because of stuff like that. There you can see the wire going up above the roof joist, in between the 1x4 skid sheathing, I think they call this, the 1x4s. Obviously bad in any case. Here's another example right there. And then patiently follow over here. If you notice too, this is like I think that's possibly recycled newspaper. Either way, messy. Right now I don't have a dust mask on. When I obviously go to start working, I will have a full respirator on. But if we come over here, the worst one, stepping over here, be patient with me, is right here. Obviously this looks like maybe 6 gauge, old 6 gauge Romex there, cloth covered Romex, and that's the worst one right there. Look at that right there. Eesh, that gives me the heebie-jeebies right there, just because it's the 240 circuit, and then it goes up under there. So I allotted 2 days to do this, so you can see kind of over here, it's kind of a mess. I'm gonna try to get a lot of this stapled up as good as possible, but here, just gotta be patient with me. I'm stepping around here while trying to hold the camera. So on the other side, even where there's not any solar panels going, it's still a mess. A couple places here I noticed when it went above there. Yeah, back here. So yeah, you can see that back there. That's not good. And now, so if I have time to fix that, I will. Otherwise, obviously I'll make the priority where the panels are going. But this is kind of an oddball switch here. That could be, nobody knows what that does. I don't think that actually is hooked to anything. Has low voltage wires going in and out. It's kind of a mess here, but so also too, one thing I really dislike, I'm going to do more videos on, is this piece of the plywood here. You should never have loose plywood in attics. This is a huge fire hazard. So I want to do some videos just on that. All this stuff should never be left here. Loose plywood, it's really bad because it can be moved around and then slide on top of wires, between wires and studs. Anything not fastened like that. This is a huge piece too. That almost looks like 10 feet long or so. If I have time, I'll actually I'll get my circular saw, cut that in about 3 pieces and remove it. But that was probably done at one point when the house had a new roof put on. And if this were my house also, and I would have an insulation company come in here and actually remove this insulation so you could see exactly what's under it electrically. But that's expensive too. But so that's my video here. I'll give you updates on what I find. Okay, here we are, day 2 of the wire repair with the misguided wires in the attic. They're, as I said before, putting in solar cells, and the installers got spooked because of the wires that are so close to the decking, which I absolutely do not blame them. This is one of the ones I corrected. reran those 2 wires. And then there's also a larger 240 circuit, older wire that was junctioned going up above the joist, and I actually rerouted those to where they're actually running under the duct along the ground, and made it up in this junction box here that's easily accessible. And they used a couple Polaris connectors and then one of these split bolts for the stranded, and of course bonded the box. That's always important. Now this actually is the closed dryer circuit, and I've told the customer they really need to replace it, and they're actually open to that. So, but and this is a junction here I did, and then I went back in this area and cleaned up a significant amount of wires that were going through the joist. Actually relocated a coax cable, and come over here and got all that cleaned up in there. So now today's deal is working in that side of the attic. About to start that. Weather is actually perfect. It's about 40 degrees outside. And then I told the customer the furnace line is in bad shape. There's not a bushing here. This is actually extension cord wire, a really light gauge, and then it junctions there to this little switch here. That's real nice. And then this little open splice here. So we're definitely going to get that repaired. I don't know if that'll be on today or not. And there's also a bunch of wires on the other side of the attic, not related to the solar stuff here. But yeah, some of these wires were really bad. Actually, one of them pinched between here. One Romex actually went between the 1x4, and it's just amazing it didn't arc or short out. So, but yeah, all this on this side, it needs redone. But I hope you like this video. Mainly is intended for electricians, electrical contractors, or anybody who is kind of interested in dorky attic info. This house again was built in the probably the 20s. I think she said it was a 1920, which is about right. A wood frame house. So yeah, this kind of wiring here spanned like that. I didn't do that. Just kind of FYI, I want to make a note of that. That was there before. How this Romex spans across here. I'm probably will try to support that in the middle. I think that's too far of a span. But compared to what other stuff going on, this is like a minor problem. But if you like this kind of information, and this is helpful, please like and subscribe. But that's it. Have a good one, and stay attic cool. So this is probably the most important part of this video, is carrying tools around. And doing this for years, I've got different ways I would carry things into attics. Sometimes I would just use this bag with some wire nuts, hand tools, what I needed. But usually that wasn't enough, and I'd end up having to make multiple trips. So what I have started doing is I will carry this little tote. And when I say attic, this idea can be used in crawl spaces also. But this is a little Rubbermaid, like a 3-gallon Rubbermaid tote. And it's just the perfect size. And so I'll put my hand tools in it, like my little wiggly screwdrivers. Those are handy because they get things on and off real quick. Of course, utility knife, flathead, Phillips, and then Klein's. So a lot of electricians will do all the staples with Klein's. I stopped doing that because it's really difficult to do, especially in the older homes. The wood is like is like rock. It's like, you know, hammering into granite, some of that old growth wood. So I started always carrying just the hammer. So, but you know, the Kleins, and of course, you know, the proximity tester, got to have that, you know, dikes, strippers. And one of the most important things too is this bag here. So I'll keep all my wire nuts in here, and then right when I use one, I'll zip the bag right back up. And then because sure enough, you know, insulation will fall in there. So get a wire nut out, zip it back up. Also too, I love these little push connectors also. I've kind of transitioned into using those. Those are a lot easier in attics. But you know, and then boom, keep that in there, zipped up. And then you're going to get insulation filling up here, but that's not a big deal. You can still feed, you know, get your tools out of there. It's when insulation gets in there is a pain. And so you just, you know, have your camera in there, and that's pretty much your setup. So the drill, I usually don't carry that anymore. I usually find I don't need it most of the time, and plus it's heavy and awkward. But and I love the Milwaukee a little headlamp, rechargeable. This is my second one of these. Really robust. It's great. Of course, got it at Home Depot. But I think that's it with little tips on that. But you know, right when you're done any of the tools, you got to keep the bucket here and put them right back in the bucket. So as soon as you set it down, that insulation, it like sucks it up, and you'll really know it's really hard to find. Then you're trying to, you know, dig through insulation, and you know, 100 degrees in the attic, and it's just a mess. So, you know, just take your time, put them back in the little container, and that's probably the best tip I can give electricians or anybody doing stuff like that.